The private jet sliced through the early morning clouds before easing onto the runway at São Paulo Guarulhos Airport. Lucas Moreira watched the city come into focus through the oval window, his reflection staring back at him. Sharp suit, calm expression, billionaire confidence. At least, that's what the world saw. Inside, something old and unsettled stirred. 3 years had passed since he'd left Brazil with nothing but ambition and a heart he pretended he didn't need. Back then, Lucas had been hungry for success, desperate to escape mediocrity. Ana Ribeiro had stood by him through sleepless nights and rejection emails, believing in his ideas when no one else would. She had loved him without conditions. And when his startup exploded internationally, he'd repaid that love by walking away. Business came first. Love could wait, or so he'd told himself as he boarded the plane and ignored the tears in her eyes. Now he was back, wealthier than he'd ever imagined, respected, feared, untouchable. His company was preparing to acquire a major Brazilian tech firm, and the media buzzed about his return like it was a triumphant homecoming. But Lucas felt no triumph. Brazil wasn't just a market. It was a memory. The black luxury car rolled through the city streets, past colorful buildings and familiar corners that tugged at his past. On impulse he asked the driver to slow near Vila Mariana, an old neighborhood he hadn't visited in years. His chest tightened as he stepped out, the air warm and scented with fresh bread and morning dew. He told himself he was only curious. He didn't expect to see her. The park lay quiet under blooming jacaranda trees. Parents chatted softly, joggers passed by, and pigeons scattered across the path. Then Lucas froze. Ana stood near a wooden bench, sunlight catching in her dark hair. She looked different, stronger somehow, but unmistakably the same woman who had once shared his dreams. She laughed as a small boy ran circles around her, his giggles ringing through the park. Lucas's breath hitched. The child couldn't be more than 3 years old. The boy stumbled, and Ana rushed forward, kneeling to steady him. "Careful, meu amor," she whispered, brushing dirt from his tiny hands. The tenderness in her voice pierced Lucas's chest. His eyes dropped to the child's face, and his world tilted. Dark curls, the same deep brown eyes Lucas saw every morning in the mirror. The resemblance was undeniable. His mind began to count backward, each second louder than the last. 3 years. Exactly 3 years since he'd left Brazil. 3 years since Ana had begged him to stay. 3 years since she'd tried to say something, her voice shaking, before he'd cut her off with promises of someday. This can't be a coincidence. Ana looked up then, sensing his stare. Their eyes met across the park, and the color drained from her face. For a long moment, neither of them moved. The sounds around them faded, leaving only the pounding of Lucas's heart. She stood slowly, instinctively pulling the boy closer, her hand resting protectively on his shoulder. "Lucas," she said, her voice calm but guarded. Hearing his name from her lips after all this time felt unreal. He took a step forward without thinking, his gaze never leaving the child. "How old is he?" Lucas asked, though he already knew the answer he feared. Ana's jaw tightened. "We don't need to talk about this," she said firmly, her eyes flicking around the park. "Is he mine?" The words escaped before Lucas could stop them. His voice cracked, stripping away years of carefully built control. The boy looked up at him curiously, unaware that his existence had just shattered a man's world. Ana held Lucas's gaze, pain and anger warring in her expression. She didn't answer, didn't have to. The truth hung heavy in the air between them. Lucas felt something inside him break. All his success, his power, suddenly felt meaningless. He had come back to Brazil for business, for deals and headlines. Instead, he had walked straight into the life he'd abandoned.